I am Tanya Woods, AKA Thrill Builds. I am a costumer and cosplayer. I think I've always liked a good costume. My first, as I call it, my first real costume was when I was about 9, and my mom had gotten one of those Simplicity patterns, and it was Batgirl. And it had a little fabric cowl, and I remember that it really was nothing more than the gauntlets, and I think there were boot covers that you made out of felt, and it had the little bat emblem, and I just had a leotard, and you know, she stuck it on me, and I remember feeling so good wearing that costume. And after that, it was like, we're not buying a store-bought costume. Every cosplay, I look at it and I try to map, you know, my way to the end, and I look at it, and one of the first things I look at is, you know, what processes am I going to have to use here, or what I can use. And you know, I think with any creative, if you give them a task, and there's 5 people in a room, all 5 of them will take a different route to get to the end, and all of them would be very different because it's going to be that person's expression. And so that's probably the best part for me. A lot of my builds are things that I liked, that I found, that I found visually interesting, or characters that I like. And if I get one person in a day that looks over and recognizes the thing, then that's great. You know, that's better than, you know, 200 people that kind of walk up and like, can I get a picture, snap, and then they walk away. I think my first con costume, I was Mr. Mephistopheles from Cats, which is, you know, kind of a very Dragon Con thing to do, where it wasn't a fantastical costume at all. It wasn't, you know, something heroic. It was just something that I liked. With every costume, I try to improve the skills that I already have, and I try to learn at least one new thing. Or try a thing that scares me. And you know, sometimes those are my greatest triumphs. You know, it's the thing that I was hesitant to do. When I go to conventions and I'm on panels with other builders, they tend to be, you know, kind of 30-something white males, or they're a little bit older white guys, and they've got like a whole bunch of money, and you know, they're building these $4,000 and $5,000 costumes. And so I actually try to make a point of being more visible, because I want people to know that there are people that look like me. There's actually lots of people that look like me, that are making, you know, all kinds of fantastic things. No one ever immediately asked me about the craftsmanship of the costume in as much as they believe that I did it. The first question I always get is, where did you get that? And then I say, oh, I made it. And then they always go, oh, from a kit? And I'm like, no, not from a kit. I poked around for hours and sculpted this thing, and then I printed it out on my own 3D printer, and then I sanded it, and I put Bondo on it. And I made this thing. I literally made this thing. I cosplay really because I like the building process. I like the costumes, and so they exist, and so I should just put them on and wear them. As I've started to do more commissions, I've noticed that my own costumes have gotten to be fewer in a year, because that's not really where I derive my pleasure in the process. I think a lot of people assume that if you're a woman and you say that you do cosplay and that you make your own costumes, everybody assumes that you only do fabric, and they assume that you only do kind of cute anime characters, which there's nothing wrong with that. If that is your wheelhouse and that's your niche, great for you. But there's just this perception that people like me don't have a place, and that we don't fit, and that we don't exist. And obviously that's not true, because I'm here. My name is Tanya Woods, AKA Thrill Builds. I'm a costumer and cosplayer. This is my voice, and this is my life.